Back for another edition of Protected Speech, along with Jonathan Choe. I'm Ravi Kapur, and we're going to get right into the big news of this week. Seattle passed an ordinance involving caste, the first caste law on the books anywhere in the country. It's going to be applied to their anti-discrimination laws. It could cause a huge ripple effect around the country. We've been covering this topic on this show for weeks on end because I think it's very serious, very important. Jonathan, being in Seattle, you've seen, some of the primary folks involved in this movement, namely Shama Sawant, the council member there who initiated this thing, and it got passed within 1 month of her putting it out there.
Yeah, I was really stunned to see her ground game at work. Her supporters, the people she mobilized behind this, that was the key. They really came out in support of this, were vocal, and had the numbers. And the folks who were opposed to this, it felt like their voices weren't being heard. The concerns weren't being heard. It was just being drowned out by Sawant and her initiative, her agenda. And here we are today.
Well, it's a fascinating subject on many levels, and I want to get into it with a real subject matter expert, which is Suhag Shukla from the Hindu American Foundation. But before we get to Suhag, I just want to recap briefly what's taken place. So, over the last couple of years, there's been a number of resolutions that have been passed by cities and counties and even some universities around the country. A lot of it apply to what's going on in India. And resolutions are one thing, but actually having an ordinance on the books specific to caste is a different dynamic. And what was interesting to me is that Sawant, in her messaging during this, basically they took public comments and then they had a vote. Sawant afterwards grabbed the mic and basically said some stuff about India, which I thought was very telling. It wasn't really specific to Seattle, but she was calling out the government of India, and I think that's what is fascinating about this because, we have not seen an actual case in Seattle regarding caste discrimination, and yet this law was put on the books in a very rapid manner.
Yeah, this is a classic case, in my opinion, of virtue signaling. Basically, this is an irrelevant topic here in Seattle. No one in the local media was covering it before this popped up. And again, as your viewers and listeners and everyone who follows us knows, we've already reported on this, that Sawant is not running for the city council again after her term is up in the next year. She's taking her game and her message of socialism and communism national. She's going to be pushing for that workers' coalition. And again, I think this is just one of many shots being fired from the national stage moving forward. And right now, India's in focus and the target.